it is a super interesting time that we live in. Basically, every single thing and every single person, as Lisa said, is connected. This is the most interesting, exciting time for human communication ever. Not only because right now, you in your hand, and just before we go forward, how many of you have an iPhone? Hold it up. Get your phone out. Hold it up. Proud. Fantastic. Okay, everybody look around. Okay, now put it down. How many people have an Android? Not so much. Okay, put it down. How many people have a BlackBerry? Stand up. That's it? Okay. Welcome to the 21st century. Okay. Is there anyone in this room who has a flip phone? Stand on the table. Come on up here. No, come on up here. With your phone. Please bring your phone up here. We're going to set up a history table. Let's see. Why don't you come sit right up here with your phone? It does text. Fantastic. Does anybody else have? So please go sit down over there. I wasn't kidding. Thank you. Okay. Is there anybody in this room who does not have a mobile phone? If you stand up, then please leave the room. Okay. All right. So we're good. So basically what we understand right now is that pretty much, except for this lady right here, and your name is? Emily. Fantastic. And Emily, do you need my phone to keep up with us, or have you? Okay, you're good? Okay, and why do you not have a smartphone?
Everybody is always on it, and I don't want email on my phone, and I'm good.
Okay, Emily? Just hang on to the mic, will you? I might have some more questions for you later. So basically, Emily seems to be the only one who doesn't want to be connected, but not only are we connected to each other, not only right now, could I give you the name of some stranger in Nairobi, Kenya, and you could probably all go on your phones and Google that person and find them and actually get them, probably not on the phone, they probably use SMS, but you could pretty much be connected to anybody, anywhere. The cool thing is that it's not just people that are connected. It's not just that we're in what my sister, who's a futurist, calls the human-to-human economy. It's also that we are more and more connected to things. Does anybody have a Nest thermostat in their house? Right? If you don't know what that is, it's really, really cool. And you can actually control the temperature of your house from your smartphone. So objects, or what's called the Internet of Things, is also increasingly connected to us. So pretty much, except for Emily, everybody else can run their entire life off of their device. They did a study in America that said that 1/3 of Americans would rather give up sex for a year than their smartphone. Now, I will not ask for a show of hands to compare in this audience, but think about that. Think about what that means. Emily obviously is pretty happy. She doesn't have to give anything up. However, everyone else, right, is so connected now and feels like this thing is actually their second brain. Today, the problem is that we also live in an attention deficit world, right? There is so much information coming at us that the hardest part is keeping up. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. So it's just some interesting bits of information that actually, if you really think about them, can make you crazy. So we'll do this really quick so that you don't go crazy. So 4.6 billion pieces of content. Think about what that means. That's every single day. Now, what do I mean when I say content? What I'm talking about is everything from emails to texts, to videos, to those animated GIFs, to blog posts. Anything that is created and posted online, I don't care where it's posted, whether it's on a blog, on a website or on social media, that's a piece of content. This is the even crazier statistic. It took 5,000 years to produce as much content as it's taken in the last 30. Think about that. Think about this attention scarcity generation that we live in. We are also constantly connected. So let's do another little survey. Who has checked their email in the last 24 hours? Who has, okay, put your hands down. This is going to be good exercise. You may want to use both arms in case you haven't exercised for a while. Who has checked their email in the last 12 hours? Who has checked their email in the last 2 hours? Who has checked their email since they've been in here? Thank you so much for your attention. So we live in this world where we are continually connected. As a matter of fact, Lisa shared something with you about me, so I will share something that she told me. No, just kidding. No, I'll share it anyway. No, but the reality is, like Lisa was saying, so I was telling her this quick story that yesterday on the flight out here, the lady next to me had a BlackBerry and an iPhone. And I said, God, in 2016, that's so odd. And she admitted that when she was at UPS, she actually had 2 phones as well. Corporate phone, personal phone. And that's part of the issue, I think, today is how do we blend our work life with our personal life? And how do we separate the two? In 2016, you are competing for attention against absolutely everything. Even standing up here, I'm competing for your attention. I'm competing for your attention because you could be looking around, you could be on your phone, you could be on Facebook, you could be doing any number of things, but you are not ever paying attention to just one thing. If you remember nothing else from today, except for the goldfish number, remember this: attention is our new currency. It's how we measure absolutely everything. And it is getting increasingly difficult to hold people's attention. So while Lisa is talking about marketing and branding, that's super important. But if people aren't going to pay attention, if you're not reaching them where they live, it doesn't even matter what the message is because they're not paying attention to it. And that's really different from the way things have always been. So the first question when you think about, okay, so what do we do about this? How do we win? Question is, who do you want to reach? Which is kind of a difficult question too. So I know that you and many people these days are talking about millennials. We actually, I think they're kind of sitting in that back 2/3 of the room, and I kind of looked around. But it's not just about millennials. And I think that it's really important when we think about who we're going after, not just to classify them in demographic groups, but also to think about psychographics. Ultimately, it is getting harder and harder to figure out how to reach people. You used to put on a TV ad and reach everybody. In 1999, May 1999, I made a TV movie that aired during sweeps on CBS. That night, 22 million people stayed home on a Sunday night to watch my movie. I got their attention because there wasn't that much more information, because there weren't that many places where you can watch TV. I don't know if any of you can remember a time before Netflix. Oh my God, like I don't know how we survived, or a time before video on demand. It's kind of crazy to think about it, but there used to be a time where there was something called appointment television, where you actually stayed home. Probably, I'd say today, the only appointment television just happened this Sunday. It's the Super Bowl. Other than that, I can't really think of a time where you actually have to stay home to watch TV. We talked about a little bit about collaboration. I think finding unlikely partners is really important. At Mike's Hard Lemonade, we were a tiny little company with no budget in a $100 billion industry trying to break in. What we did was we partnered up with our local distributors who are in the communities, and the community. So when you guys talk about community, the success of Mike's Hard Lemonade, which today is a $1 billion company, is predicated on the fact that we did everything at a grassroots level and on a community level. That's how we became ubiquitous, and that's how we became a real player in the $100 billion US beer industry. This is a recent promotion that Uber did. I don't know if anybody used it. For $30, they would deliver a puppy to your office. What a great idea. They did this the week before the Super Bowl for the Puppy Bowl. They teamed up with Animal Planet and local animal and dog shelters and built this whole huge community outreach. They got a ton of media, a ton of attention, and had a ton of fun. Stories. Everybody's talking about stories. I learned a lot about stories in Hollywood, and here's the most important thing you need to know about stories. Have a beginning, middle, and an end. That's it. Because storytelling is about making human-to-human connections. So ultimately, what you want to do is make sure that you are compelling people to engage with you. Draw them in. If you're not drawing them in, they do not care. Remember what I said at the very beginning. Why do I care? Whenever I'm working on anything that involves other people, I take a giant Post-it, I put it in the mirror in my bathroom, and I put that question up there, and I ask myself all the time, why do I care? Maybe make that the screensaver on your smartphone for everyone except for Emily, who can't do that. But maybe write it down on a piece of paper. But it's a good thing to continually question is, why do I care? And if you're wondering, how do I do all of this? How do I get into the mind of the donor? How do I know what they're thinking? There's one simple thing. Ask them. There is this whole new method that's coming out called design thinking, and it starts with empathy. And it's something we did very early on in Four Seasons, where we wanted to create a luxury experience for our guests. The problem was there were no other luxury hotel chains that were trying to do the same thing, so we didn't really have competitors. Plus, our employees, like the busboy or the janitor or the front desk clerk, had never stayed in a luxury hotel. There weren't that many places to go, so how would they know what it felt like? So we did something very simple. We forced them, it's really hard to do, to spend a night at the hotel as a guest, starting from the reservation until checkout. Think about what it's like to put yourself in the donor's shoes. Again, just flip everything around. We're not used to that. At the end of the day, you don't want to be an ostrich. You don't want to be irrelevant. And I urge everyone, especially the people sitting at this table, to wake up. Wake up. We are living in the most exciting time for human communication ever. We have access to everyone. We have access to everything. The only thing to stop you from success is your own limited thinking. Yes, this is going to take work. Yes, this is not about the status quo. But instead of looking at it as a chore, look at it as an opportunity. So I really encourage everyone here to pay attention. The future and my flying car is on the way.